Hi folks, I'm Steve Hindy for Showing Animals Respect and Kindness. This is footage from the 2016 Mississippi Valley Fair in Davenport, Iowa. Shark investigator Janet Enoch heard that there were some questionable goings-on at the fair, so she took a walk through with her trusty video camera and found a real circus freak.
Ma'am, in the state of Iowa, it's against the law to videotape somebody without their permission, and I'm going to ask you one more time to get away from my display, or I'm going to file criminal charges on you.
Aren't you being
Please leave.
I just wanted to see that monkey.
Please leave. You are up to no good, and you know it.
His name is Joe Schreibvogel, but being a self-promoter, he calls himself Joe Exotic. Schreibvogel runs an exhibit where people get to pet exotic animals, mainly tiger cubs, for a price. Joe has a problem with both video cameras and people with compassion, so Schreibvogel didn't like Janet at all. Even after Janet left Schreibvogel's display, both Schreibvogel and his minions started stalking Janet around the fair.
About the information about take care elephants is that you notice they have the 5 toenails on the front and 4 on the back. We kind of trim them up just like you do with a horse file. You round them up, you get them square.
And the next girl is one such example of that.
You're not doing this one either, okay?
You're not in charge of the fair, so go away.
I can have the cops come.
Please do.
Okay.
Go right ahead.
Hey, go find me a police officer.
You do that.
When Schreibvogel threatened to get the police, Janet encouraged him to do so, because the police are supposed to be the good guys. Unfortunately, that's not the way it turned out.
Hey, so whoever's running the show said something about they'd ask you to put the camera away. I guess they don't allow filming.
He's not running the show. Second of all, there's no sign saying no video cameras are allowed. Third, this is a fair. It's a public property. I paid to come in.
Okay.
That was a guy from someplace else trying to tell me what he's been following me around the fair, telling me what I can and can't do. That's called harassment. I want him charged.
Well, I don't know. I know other things you can film at the fair as far as their show. Okay. I mean, is there anyone else filming?
There's somebody else filming, and there's somebody else filming the other show. I just came from the alligator show. They had people recording, and one of the other shows I went to, they said, "Get your cameras out and catch this." Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a fair. Are you kidding me?
The cops inexplicably sided with Schreibvogel to the degree that they accused one of his creeps of being with Janet, when the creep was in fact stalking Janet.
On my face, you have someone here taking pictures and video, overseeing us.
I don't know who that is.
I absolutely do not believe that for a second. Which is fine. You can, for your protection, that's fine. It's
Fair Board, you continue to videotape. He's asked you not to.
Right. Well, he told me. He just told me that.
We're going to ask you to leave.
Okay, I understand. He just told me that.
So please turn that off.
Right.
Finally, Janet even went to the fair office where she heard this.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, you can't videotape because that's a copyrighted show. And so
He wasn't showing anything.
you cannot videotape any part of that scenery because it's a copyrighted show. So security called and asked, and I said, if it's copyrighted, then yes, you're not able to videotape that. So they said they would ask you to please stop, and if you don't stop, then they would take it a step forward. So, you're not really complaining about one of my exhibitors. You're complaining about somebody that's on the grounds here. Is that what it is?
He was the exhibitor.
Yeah, he's not an exhibitor. He's an attraction. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a copyrighted show. So they ask that you don't videotape that.
Okay, so is he allowed to follow me around, tell me all the other shows I can and cannot videotape as well? Because he also did that as well.
No.
And like, for example, I went and I talked to this guy here. Oh, there the guy is. I talked to this guy.
Are you with the Big Cat Show?
Yes,
Why
yes.
are you videotaping her?
Because I know that she's an animal activist.
You guys want to go on out?
Yeah, try.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
And she's harassing most of the shows that are here.
No, I'm not.
Both of you, shut your cameras off right now.
The claim of copyright for a third-rate petting zoo is absolute nonsense. But let's examine why all this happened to begin with. As I said, Joe Schreibvogel breeds tigers, lots of them. Bored people get to pay to have their photos taken with tiger cubs and other animals. Schreibvogel charges more money for people to pet the animals. There are bad stories about Schreibvogel's operation. For instance, 23 tiger cubs in Schreibvogel's care died between 2009 and 2010. People who make it possible for Schreibvogel to not get a real job apparently never consider what happens to tiger cubs when they grow beyond the cute and cuddly stage, when they grow up. If the cubs don't just disappear, they might end up like these tigers, which were filmed at the same fair a year earlier, bored out of their minds, engaging in repetitive behavior that shows the toll captivity takes on exotic animals. Don't care much about animals? You might still want to avoid Schreivogel's show. In this video's description, we've included a link to a television news story about how, and this is real, Schreivogel likes to hand out condoms during his show, and he doesn't care if children are there. We've included a link to a television news story about that. Pepsi-Cola sponsors the Mississippi Valley Fair, so you may want to call Pepsi and let the company know what you think. The 2017 Mississippi Valley Fair's list of prohibited items now includes video cameras. So I guess Janet really shook up Joe Schreivogel, and we can see which side the fair supports. Lord help the animals and the children at the Mississippi Valley Fair. I'm Steve Hindy for Showing Animals Respect and Kindness.